So, G, tell me, how long have you actually been in CrossFit?
I've been doing CrossFit for, I believe, gosh, this is year 14. Actually, I started
Wow.
in 2008, so this is year 14. And I guess that kind of makes me one of the original gangsters in the
Yeah.
CrossFit thing, at least
Yeah.
in this area. I guess one of the original gangsters in the CrossFit area. And I've crossed paths with a lot of the CrossFit, I guess you call them celebrities,
Yeah.
sort of
CrossFit celebrities.
celebrities. I mean, we use that term very loosely in this context. People that are famous in the CrossFit space. And I've got a fun story or two. So, in
Huh.
today's podcast, I look forward to sharing an amusing anecdote or two for the entertainment of the audience. So, if that sounds fun to you, hearing about CrossFit celebrities, stay tuned.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
Well, that was an interesting introduction. Very excited for this one. Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we get to learn from our CFE coaches. We get to meet and learn from our CFE CrossFitters, as well as occasionally talk with some of our Glen Carbon Edwardsville community leaders and business owners. I'm your co-host, Dallas Amston, presentation digital content consultant for business owners and entrepreneurs who are battling brand obscurity. I help them create clear messaging that amplifies their authority and converts more clients. In short, I help them communicate to succeed. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, CFE coach, Greg Skelly. G. Skell, how are you?
I'm good, man. Got my workout done. I'm feeling pretty good, kind of riding that energy rush, that endorphin rush from the workout. And I guess I get to be a complete CrossFit nerd today. This should be fun for me. It's kind of
You do?
storytelling hour, I guess. So, grab your favorite frosty beverage and let's huddle around the campfire for a minute today.
That's awesome. So for those of you who don't know, you do know who he is, but he's the CEO and the GM at CrossFit Edwardsville. But as you said in the intro, G, you've been in the game for 14 years. So you've been around some of the, as we call them, CrossFit celebrities. So today we thought that might be a fun little let you share a few stories. So we're going to cover everyone from the Castro himself, Pat Sherwood, so many other names that some people may know, may not know. So let's hop in and let you share some stories. So the first one, obviously, I think this one is very relatable right now, is Mr. Dave Castro. So first, tell us who he is and why he's been in the news.
So Dave Castro is now the former director of the CrossFit Games, and because, as we recently learned, he has been let go from his position by CrossFit headquarters. Our new CEO, Eric Rosa, contacted Dave shortly after the holidays of 2021 to let Dave know that he was no longer employed by CrossFit headquarters, which is a really big deal because for many years, Mr. Castro has been sort of the face of the CrossFit Games.
Oh, for sure.
Every time a CrossFit Open announcement was made, he was the face delivering that news to CrossFit Nation. He's been the architect behind all of the CrossFit Open workouts, many of the CrossFit Regionals workouts, all of the CrossFit Games workouts. Essentially, Dave Castro's mind, his brain, has produced what all of us think of when we think about the CrossFit Open, when we think about the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Everything we see in our heads is the manifestation of this dude's like wicked diabolical mind for creating incredibly effective fitness tests, but also great theater.
Yeah.
Great
No,
theater.
he's definitely the man, has been the man of Oz, pulling the, behind the curtain, the great and powerful, and the curtain got revealed of who it was. He definitely is a character.
He's a character for sure. And I had a chance to meet him at regionals many years ago. I think it was 2018.
Okay.
It might have been 2018 regionals that I got to meet Dave Castro. And I've said this for a long time, and I will continue to say this now. Dave Castro plays the bad guy a lot when he's, presenting the workouts that
Sure.
he's written for the Open, that he's done for the CrossFit Games, in sort of a twisted, gleeful way that only a CrossFit coach, and he has been a CrossFit coach. He's been a level 1 instructor. He's been on the seminar staff. Castro's been in the game since the earliest days. I think it's worth noting that Dave Castro's home was the site of the very first CrossFit Games, and has been the site of subsequent CrossFit Games. Dave Castro has been involved in CrossFit since the earliest days. He's a Navy SEAL. I don't know if you knew that. He's a
I knew that,
Navy SEAL.
but yeah, it's very cool about him. You wouldn't think it by looking at him.
Yeah. But Castro, for as long as most of us can remember, has been the face of the games, and in like a gleeful sort of way, delights in being, I guess, the target of all the hate and the criticism. If there's a workout you don't like, a workout that has left you lying on your back, staring up at the ceiling, wondering what the hell just happened, he was probably the name that you cursed. But I will say that he willingly plays like the bad guy in that sense. Like, he'll take the heat for the workouts that are so difficult and that really push us to our limits. But I have never known him to be anything other than a completely A+ guy.
Sure.
And I mentioned how I actually met him at regionals in 2018, but it wasn't the first time that we'd interacted. And we had interacted by email before that point. I got to meet him in person at regionals. And then we've crossed paths, a couple times since. And I just got to say that I think he's the most A+, straight up, honest, genuine, authentic human being. And I think very highly of him. There was a time.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There was a time after, Greg Glassman's scandals of, I think, 2019, 2020. It was one of the two, 2020, I think, where Glassman stepped out of the CEO position and Castro stepped into leadership position. And I honestly felt like, okay, we're in good hands here. A lot of people doubted him. They're like, I wonder if he's still part of the old guard. Well, yeah, he's a part of the old guard, but he's also a man of character.
Right.
He is a stand-up dude. He really believes in CrossFit and was really doing the best that he can to make everything great for the people. So,
well, and I don't think maybe some of our members at CrossFit Edwardsville and some of our listeners don't actually know that Castro was actually instrumental in something very specific here for CrossFit Edwardsville.
Yes. I give Dave direct credit for getting us our first level 1 seminars when we started hosting, what that means is CrossFit Edwardsville, our gym, gets to host CrossFit level 1 seminars, level 2 seminars periodically throughout the year, which is an honor for us. We're always so grateful for that. Obviously, there's revenue associated with it, but it also allows us to have our coaches attend these events, have some of our CrossFitters, our well-established clients can attend these events, and it's a blessing to them for that reason. And the fact that we've hosted level 1, level 2 seminars is sort of a big picture stamp of approval. So now if we go to, Invictus, we talked to CrossFit Invictus, they're like, hey, would you like to bring your seminar here? Headquarters has been bringing their seminars here to us for years. It's like almost like a pre-qualification. So it's been a tremendous blessing, and Dave Castro has been instrumental in that. I personally owe him a debt of gratitude for that reason.
That's cool.
I have a photograph of me actually talking to Dave.
Love it.
Let me see if I can't find that to share it. This will be for our viewers who are on the video version of the podcast.
Yeah, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, you can also check this out. As he's pulling that up, I obviously will fill it with a plug, but you can check us out at CrossFit Edwardsville on YouTube as well if you want to see this particular moment. We're about 10 minutes into the conversation here today, so you can just scrub forward and see it. But yeah, let's pull that baby up. There he is. I appreciate, G, that this image with you with Castro is really all about your arm. This is really all about the tricep and the bicep and the shoulder striation. It's quite lovely.
That's hilarious. Your key takeaway from this image of me with Dave Castro is my arm.
Yeah, well, again, everybody, join us at YouTube at CrossFit Edwardsville to see this moment.
This is it's just the way that the camera is angled. I look way bigger than Dave Castro.
This is fun. So where was this at then? The Music City Center?
Nashville Music City Center, Regionals 2018. And when I talked to Dave here, I told him, and I've had variations of this conversation with him a few times, that I told him, hey, I know that you get a lot of heat a lot of times for the decisions that you make with the Open, with the games. I just want to thank you personally from us to you. I know that everything that you do is for the best with CrossFit, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. I think that you're like the way that you present all of it, the way that you stoke the flames of interest and intrigue with your social media posts. I think it's fantastic theater, and I think that it really, really benefits the entire CrossFit experience that you take this role of, kind of being the bad guy sometimes, but it draws good attention to CrossFit.
Yeah.
It keeps people engaged and excited about the Open, the games. And I just want to thank you because, if nobody's thanked you lately, I want to be the guy to say thank you. That's what I told him when I was talking to him in person. But
very cool.
Fast forward to now, he's been fired by CrossFit, and it was a shock for so many of us, myself included. Did not see that coming at all.
No. That was a left field moment for CrossFit.
A left field moment, and not only that, but we still don't really understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to fully acknowledge I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
With Dave Castro. I know there might be some piece of information out there that if I knew that,
right,
I would support the idea of him being fired by CrossFit. That's entirely possible. Maybe I don't know something, but based on my vantage point from where I am, I don't like it as a move for CrossFit. I think that Castro was good for the brand. I think that he did a great job for many, many years. I liked having him being involved. And I think his shoes are impossible to fill.
Yeah. And again, everybody, I'll just stress too, if you're listening to this, at the time of this recording, we don't have any information as to the why he was let go. If that information comes out, obviously you'll get different message from us. But we've seen multiple shifts in CrossFit in the last few years, from Reebok to Rogue. I mean, several things like that have happened that sometimes you go, that's a really great move. Sometimes you go, I don't understand that move. And maybe more clarity will come down the pipe as we get further distance from the moment that occurred. But as of right now, we're all going to be like, man, what is the season going to be like without Castro? And literally, I've heard people say without Castro castrating everybody. So,
well, I do want to take this opportunity to make what might be a somewhat exciting announcement.
Hold on. I'm going to time mark this again. If you're listening to this and you want to see this announcement, you might want to follow us on the YouTube channel. We're at 14 minutes into this conversation. G, give it to us.
So let me see. I'm going to hit the proper share window button and share.
Special announcement. I don't even know what this is. So you're going to get my first reaction.
So what I'm doing is I'm sharing a screenshot of a DM, a few DMs that I have sent to Dave Castro. And I don't know if you can blow this up, make it a little bit bigger for the audience.
Let's
Dallas,
see what we can do here.
So in the screenshot to our audio listeners, you'll see messages from me in the past where I send Dave, hey, from all of us at CrossFit Edwardsville, Dave, you're awesome. We appreciate everything you do and have done over the years for us, for the Open, for CrossFit at large. To hell with the haters, keep on being you. Anyway, the little announcement that I have here, that is that I officially offer Dave Castro a job at CrossFit Edwardsville.
Nice.
So if it doesn't work out, he's not going to be staying with headquarters. I would love to have Dave Castro work at CrossFit Edwardsville. So Dave, if you're listening to this, DM me back. We'd love to start a conversation and have you come interview with us.
Beautiful. Love it. That's hilarious. That's awesome. So I'm going to keep us moving here because we got a few more stories, and another name that comes up. If you were to say who, Dave Castro obviously put the games on the map, but there was one name that really stuck out in the early years of the games as well, and that was Rich Frohning. Before Frazier, there was Frohning. And so you've had an encounter and a story with him as well. So, and I think this one could be kind of fun for everybody. G, first of all, tell us who Rich Frohning is, and then tell us about your encounter with the man.
So Rich Frohning is the 4-time CrossFit Games individual men's champion and a 5-time CrossFit team affiliate cup champion. So essentially best in the world 9 times. He's an incredibly accomplished CrossFitter, one of the most famous faces in all of CrossFit. He's also the founder of CrossFit Mayhem, which is the world's most recognizable affiliate.
Yeah.
It's also a brand that produces weightlifting programming, competitors programming, and it's just become a powerhouse. And Rich Frohning is the man behind all of that. He's also a great dude, a family man. He's got kids and a wife, and he's, strong Christian presence. He's been a great example, of being a man of character, even in his position of, I guess, fame, fortune. But unfortunately, when I met him, also at regionals, I think I scared him because I didn't realize that I was about to meet Rich Frohning. It sort of happened. It's the same event where I met Dave Castro in person. All of a sudden I looked up and there was Frohning, and I was like, oh my gosh, Rich Frohning. And the look on his face was terror. I think that I scared the crap out of him. One of the mentally toughest human beings on the planet. I think he was genuinely alarmed at my fangirling all of a sudden. I tried to pull myself together. Yeah. And I shook his hand. I introduced myself, and I thanked him. There's only thing I could think to say was, hey man, I just want to thank you for being a good example. A good Christian example, a man of faith, a man of character. Yeah. I know that you probably have 1,000 pressures. You probably have 1,000 things coming your way that could knock you off your path anytime. And as far as we can tell, you've always stayed the path of faith and character. We really admire that about you. So thank you for being you.
That's awesome.
So that's my Rich Frohning story. He also won that regionals, by the way. I think that was the affiliate cup. They won.
Yeah, of course he did. I remember it's just not a CrossFit, but a celebrity sighting. I think I reacted the same way when I met and saw for the first time Al Pacino. I literally, I couldn't hold it in. I yelled out, "Al, baby!" My wife was she was standing right beside me. And she just put her head down, "Oh, you just became the most embarrassing fanboy in the room." Yeah. Now, so you scared Rich, but there was a different celebrity that scared you, and that was Pat Sherwood. So what happened there?
Pat Sherwood, this is an OG, original gangster in the CrossFit space. So a member of the CrossFit seminar staff, Pat Sherwood is one of the people whose job for many, many years was to travel the world and teach CrossFit methodology at the level 1, level 2 seminars. And he's what they called a flow master, which means that he was the ringleader of the circus at the weekend seminars. Okay. Right. As well as if you were fan of CrossFit Games media, back in like 2015, 2016. He was one of the color commentators. I don't think I've seen him as much lately, but
Yeah, I don't feel like
he was
we've
one
seen
of
him.
he was one of the talking head guys
Yeah.
on CrossFit Media for CrossFit Games because he's so charismatic. He's so personable. He's so funny. He's so likable. He's the everyman that everybody can relate to, but just super charming and fun. And he was the flow master at the very first CrossFit Level 1 seminar that I
Okay.
ever attended at CrossFit Arlington Heights in Chicago, Illinois, back in 2010,
Okay.
I believe. He, as the flow master, his job was to deliver the opening remarks at the start of the seminar. And what he did was like he just cut right to the chase. He came up in the front of all of us. He's like, guys, you know what's going to happen. So we're just going to do this right now. We're doing Fran. Put your papers down. We're going over to do Fran. And like you just felt the temperature of the room like immediately rise.
Sure.
Like the terror of everybody in the room was immediate. Like we're just, oh my gosh, like the fear. That workout is such a scary workout to so
I was going
many
to say,
people.
remind everybody, for those who don't know, what is Fran? Just give them the quick.
Fran is probably it's one of the top 3 most famous CrossFit workouts.
Yeah.
It's a combination of thrusters and pull-ups, 21 of each, 15 of each, 9 of each. It's fast, it's furious. It's the sort of workout that it's over in a few minutes, but you'll be feeling the effects of it for the rest of the day. Highly potent stimulus. Easily one of the workouts that makes everybody the most nervous. But I will tell you, so this is important, that Sherwood announced we're doing Fran immediately. Everybody up. We're going to do it right now. There was a guy in the front row that took his notepad like this and did this, picked it up, slammed it down. He was like, hell yeah. And for the rest of the weekend, we were terrified of that guy. But by the way, like Sherwood was just messing with us. Like we did not do Fran. He was literally just screwing with us.
Just to see how people reacted.
Just to see how we would react. We did not do Fran. Oh man, that always scared the crap out of me, dude. I was terrified. Man.
That's fun. So what about you had, that's a fun interaction. You've had some awkward ones. Tell us about Stacy Tovar.
So Stacy Tovar is a former CrossFit Games competitor. I think she went to the games something like 7 or 8 times. She was well known to be, one of the top games competitors.
Yeah.
And a really inspirational figure. And a lot of the dudes in CrossFit world find her to be extremely cute.
Okay. All right.
She's not difficult to look at.
Got it.
So I met her at the D-Town Throwdown, I think 2016, 2017, which was a team competition that I was involved in. Myself and a bunch of people, like 18 of us from CrossFit Edwardsville, went to compete at the event. And this was during the time window when CrossFit headquarters was following us around and featuring our story. And we can kind of talk more about that. I guess I don't know if I include that in my notes. We need to get into that in a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, met Stacy Tovar. She was a paid guest to be there to hang out at the event. She wasn't competing. She was just there.
Yeah.
And I was probably the most awkward person that she's ever met. I tried my best to find the photographs of me talking to Stacy Tovar at this event.
Yeah.
You can tell from the photographs it is so cringeworthy, Dallas. It's so hard to look at. Like it's the two of us, like literally we're in a field because outside of the competition building was basically fields, and that's where she was hanging out. And it's me, it's her, and there's like 6 feet in between us.
You were social distancing before COVID.
Social distancing before there was COVID. Like literally, like I was scared to get any closer to this CrossFit unicorn.
That's funny.
This CrossFit deity. And I don't remember what I said, but you can tell by the pictures that I was saying something stupid. Like she just enduring the interaction with me.
Sure,
And
that's
if
funny.
you're listening to this, Stacy Tovar, I apologize. Because that was, oh God. It was,
She'll tweet and be like, "Oh, I do remember that. That was the second most awkward conversation I've
yeah,
ever had."
it was a mess. It was a train wreck.
That's funny. Well, was it at that same event that you met Eric O'Connor?
No, I met Eric O'Connor at my very first level 1 seminar. Eric O'Connor was Chris Spieler's, so to speak, his better half in the
Okay.
early days of CrossFit. So the founders of CrossFit Park City, Chris Spieler and Eric O'Connor, were both high-level CrossFit competitors,
Yeah.
high-level, games-level competitors. And when I attended my first level 1 seminar, the same one that Pat Sherwood was the flow master for, Eric O'Connor was one of the trainers that was also coaching at that event, which I was total CrossFit nerd about this because I had seen Eric O'Connor in so many CrossFit main site videos doing spectacular feats of strength and conditioning, just amazing stuff. He's bad dude, super bad dude.
Yeah.
Do awesome things. And I was a little bit starstruck the whole time. One of the workouts that we did that weekend was a variation of Fight Gone Bad that they called Fight Gone Burpee. So
oh my
our audience, so so Fight Gone Bad, to those who are listening to the recording here, if you're not familiar, Fight Gone Bad is a workout where there are 5 stations, 1 minute on each station. You get as many reps as possible at each station on each exercise. You do 3 rounds, 3 5-minute rounds, 1 minute rest in between each. It's a very famous CrossFit workout. It's a benchmark. It's a fitness test. You can use it to track for quantifiable fitness progress. Well, they didn't have, one of the exercises in Fight Gone Bad is the rower. They didn't have enough rowers for all 50 of us because there was 50 people attending the seminar. Not enough rowers to go around. So they did the next best thing, which instead of doing rowing, Dallas, what's the next best exercise that you could do?
I would assume they're going to throw you on the bikes or make you run, one of the two.
There were no bikes in CrossFit at that time.
Oh,
that was before. No, Dallas, they chose everybody's favorite exercise, the burpee.
Oh, yeah.
So in Fight Gone Burpee, right, which, by the way, I had never done Fight Gone Bad before, and I didn't realize you can intelligently strategize this. I did not know that. I just came out like a bat out of hell right out the gate. And I remember,
like the first time any of us have done Fight Gone Bad.
I remember so clearly, Dallas, at the start of round 2 in this workout, I remember this like it was like this morning, the crystal clear recollection. I'm going to be the one person to quit this workout, go outside and throw up. That's going to be me. I'm going to be that guy. I felt all of the feels hit me all at once at the start of round 2. So I was already somewhat discombobulated because I had made a tactical error and I came out way too hot in the first round, a completely unsustainable pace.
Yeah.
And so I was already like some kind of way.
Yeah.
When I was doing shoulder to overhead for reps in one of the exercises, when Eric O'Connor came over like flying at me, like if you picture like on an NFL team, one of the defensive linemen comes flying at the quarterback like they're gonna tackle this dude, like they're gonna absolutely knock his head off. That was Eric O'Connor coming flying at me, and I saw him in the corner of my eye approaching me, and he comes over and he jumps and he lands right in front of me and he does this no rep. That's the famous CrossFit symbol for no rep. He just exhales that no rep. I was not apparently like sufficiently locking out the thing overhead.
Okay.
But I remember that my first reaction to this was pure abject terror.
Sure.
Eric O'Connor is bigger than me, substantially bigger than me. And I've never played football, but that was exactly what I imagined. Like if I'm a quarterback in the open field, and all of a sudden the defensive lineman catches up to me. I'm gonna die when he hits me.
Yeah.
Like I've messed up, and he's gonna.
You must have no-repped several that he felt the need to run at you that hard.
Correct. I'm sure I made a lot of stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
During that workout. But my first thought was absolute terror, and my second thought was Eric O'Connor just no-repped me. That's awesome.
Yeah, sure. I look forward to more of those.
I was like, a CrossFit celebrity just came over and just no-repped the shit out of me.
That's funny.
Yep. So I made the correction, and I did not get no-repped again. I'm pretty sure ever since that day, I've never failed to successfully complete a shoulder to overhead with good technique, because I'm still scared of Eric O'Connor coming from around the corner charging at me.
I just remember even at CFE, the first time I did Fight Gone Bad, one of our coaches came up to me and they were like, first round, they were like, just so you know, you're going way too hot. You're going to hurt yourself. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's good to know, as my heart rate monitor is already telling me I'm at 165 2 minutes in. So
it's a rookie error.
So you mentioned Chris Spieler there. Any other stories about Chris Spieler, or should we talk about Miranda?
Well, CrossFit headquarters came to CrossFit St. Charles to record one of their live CrossFit Open announcements. 2014, 2015, something like that.
Okay.
And so all of us here in Edwardsville made the pilgrimage to CrossFit St. Charles to watch the filming of the live CrossFit Open announcement. And at this event, there was a handful of CrossFit celebrities, so to speak. Miranda Oldroyd, who at the time she was Oldroyd. She's now Miranda Alcaraz, which to our audience, if you don't know that name, you may actually know her brand. She is the founder of Street Parking, which is an at-home workout program. It's like it's CrossFit without the brand name, but it's one of the world's top virtual fitness institutions.
Okay.
Workout from home.
I'm not actually familiar with that, so that's cool.
Their thing is about you're busy, you have very little time. Doing something is better than nothing. Here is your something for today.
Yep.
And they're great at it. Like, it's a fantastic, it's really impressive what Miranda and her new husband, Julian Alcaraz, have built.
Okay.
But anyway, this was before then. This was when Miranda was a talking head for CrossFit, when she was one of the color commentators.
Yeah.
She was calling the game, so to speak, because CrossFit hero Chris Spieler and Graham Holmberg, the 2010 CrossFit Games champion, at this event were going head-to-head.
Oh, fun.
Head-to-head. We actually watched them compete, and Chris Spieler won, which was exciting. The event was clean and jerks and toes to bar, AMRAP 7. 3 of each, 6 of each, 9 of each, 12 of each, 15 of each. I mean, it was a very cool event. But anyway, I don't really remember too much about the event. I remember meeting Spiel, and the dude is like, I picked him up. I was like, "Hi, Spiel." Like he's like this tall. It's hilarious because like in the photographs that we all took, me and the other CrossFit Edwardsville nerds, photographs of Spiel, it's like, here's my head, here's Edwin's head, here's Rick's head. And then Spiel's like just shows up in the photograph with his head at the bottom of the image because he's so much shorter than all the rest of us. But that dude's a CrossFit hero. Like that, he is one of the baddest dudes in the history of CrossFit, and he is famous for doing, I think it was 106 unbroken pull-ups, and almost winning the CrossFit Games on multiple occasions, despite being half the size of all the other competitors.
Sure.
Spectacular feats of strength, former D1 competitive wrestler, and another, person of faith.
That's
all
where
around
that
good
strength
dude.
came from.
Yeah, all around good dude.
Yeah.
So I got to meet him, got to meet Graham Holberg, the CrossFit Games champion. They're both stand-up dudes. I couldn't find the photograph of it, but it was cool.
That sounds like a fun event too. So we got one more conversation to have here about another CrossFit celebrity. And if you've been waiting, everybody, here it is. The originator, I guess you would say. you got a chance to meet Greg Glassman. So first of all, if you don't know that name, we'll tell you who that is. But G, your story around meeting Mr. Glassman.
Greg Glassman is the founder of CrossFit, the originator, the brains behind the idea. And he came to the D-Town Throwdown one of the years that I competed there. This was in Decatur, Illinois. I don't remember the exact year, but it's probably the point anyway. Like, this was when CrossFit was absolutely at its peak of popularity.
Yeah.
And it was also when CrossFit headquarters was following me and Fletcher Tholen around to record our story and our competition, which, side note, around those years, Fletcher was a CrossFit celebrity. Fletcher Tholen was a convicted felon who, when he was released from prison, he had seen CrossFit on the TV in prison, and he was like, I want that. I want to be a part of that. That looks
that's
amazing
awesome
to me. He had seen the CrossFit Games on TV in prison.
That's incredible.
He wanted to be a part of it. So when he was released from prison, we went to the halfway house, and he had some liberty to get out. One of the very first places that he went when he had the opportunity to do so was he went to CrossFit Edwardsville.
That's cool.
To try and get in a workout. And he walked into the gym one day, and I met him, and what he had done was he had emailed from prison when he was still in lockdown. He had emailed CrossFit headquarters a long letter just telling his story. Like, I found out about CrossFit in lockdown. It gave me purpose. I started training in the CrossFit methodology.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's given me hope. It's given me a purpose. It's given me a direction, somewhere to put my energies, so that when I get out, I'm strong, I'm fit, but I also have a productive hobby. And so CrossFit headquarters got this story.
Sure.
And they emailed him back to say,
that's PR gold. That's PR gold.
Yeah. And the headquarters emailed Fletcher back, and they started a dialogue, and they found out that Fletcher had visited CrossFit Edwardsville. And so headquarters flew out a media team to watch how this story unfolded and to capture the story of a second chance.
Yeah.
Like, will the CrossFit gym let Fletcher join?
Yep.
Is it can he get a second lease on life?
Yep.
Can this be a way for him to start new and be reintegrated into society in a healthy way? Can CrossFit help him to reconnect with the community that he had lost when he was convicted? Right. There are a lot of interesting sub stories, but there were hundreds of thousands of people watching the Fletcher Tholen YouTube video series that Gary Roberts was filming.
All right.
And the story primarily centered around Fletcher and me. Fletcher's story of transformation and redemption, but then also as Fletcher got to be stronger and better as a CrossFitter. I was his coach.
Yeah.
The person that Fletcher wanted to beat more than anybody in the CrossFit Open was me. And so the story evolved into being like the rivalry between me and Fletcher.
Oh, fun.
And so for a minute, Fletcher and I were we kind of were the CrossFit celebrities.
Yeah.
Because everybody in CrossFit Nation was watching to see who's going to win the CrossFit Open this year. Is it Coach G, or is it the upstart newcomer Fletcher Tholen?
That's awesome.
It was wild times. And if you're interested, you can find the Road to Conviction series.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. The Road to Conviction, season 2, episode 5. You got G Skell. In season 1, we met Fletcher Tholen, Greg Skelly. Oh, this is fun.
It's a fun story. So check that out on YouTube. But
yeah, I feel like we need to post that in the CFE community too.
Go for it, man. Yeah. Anyway, so around that same time, Fletcher and we teamed up to go to compete at the D-Town Throwdown. And one of the paid guests there was the founder of CrossFit, Greg Glassman.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had I will gently call this a hypothesis for a long time that Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, has never done CrossFit before. This is my hypothesis. I carefully choose this term, hypothesis. It's not a theory. It's not a law. But I will say there is no evidence whatsoever that I'm wrong.
Okay.
So Dallas Amsden, let me ask you this. What do you think the odds are that if Greg Glassman has ever done a WOD, not one single person in the entire CrossFit sphere has ever captured a photograph or video of it?
Video. Yeah, it's next to nil.
Next to nil.
Yeah.
Like if he came to your gym, you would
We'd all be taking photos.
You'd all be taking photos.
Right.
Like
We'd be
have
tweeting
all the
worked
media
out by Glassman. I mean, everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So I have the hypothesis that dude, despite his many stories, he has never done CrossFit ever.
Okay.
I think he administers CrossFit. He does not do CrossFit.
Sure.
So Greg Glassman gave a keynote speech
in the most controversial moment of the CrossFit Edwardsville podcast. Greg Skelly levies a hypothesis. This is great.
And Greg Glassman gave a keynote speech at the D-Town Throwdown this particular year, after which, from the stage, he did Q&A.
Oh, you didn't.
I couldn't resist. I understand that I'm playing with fire here because it is well established that Greg Glassman, and at that time, the way that CrossFit headquarters was run by Glassman, they have a storied history of being extremely vindictive. They have a storied history of, let's say, being less than friendly to affiliates that poke the bear. I dared to poke the bear, Dallas.
All right.
Because the man of the hour was on the stage, and I'm like, raise my hands, like, Greg, tell me about some of your CrossFit WODs. Who writes your workouts? Like that, obviously, I'm kind of setting it up where I would love it if he would just tell the damn truth.
Sure.
If he would just admit to the audience, like, you've never done CrossFit. You've never done CrossFit ever. We all know it's true. Would you just say it? And I'm like, yeah, tell us about some of your CrossFit workouts. And who writes your workouts for you?
Yeah.
And Glassman said, and I quote, I write my own workouts. Next question.
Just that totally.
Yep. That was it. And next.
Yeah. Even if he had said, I particularly avoid doing things like Frohn, you would have gone, all right, well, at least he's at least mentioning something.
At least mentioning, yep. It was so anticlimactic, but I remember how my heart was racing when I was asking this question, because I was like, this might be the moment. I'm queuing it up. I'm giving him the opportunity. Like, dude, you can just straight up tell all of us. Just tell us the damn truth. You can tell us. You can say it right now. It'll be on video. CrossFit Head Media is right there watching us.
Yeah. No, he handled that like a politician. He did a good job.
To this day, for that reason, because he answered in this way, it remains, Dallas, a hypothesis.
All right. So what you're hearing first, everybody, is we don't have any evidence whether Glassman, now no longer affiliated, obviously, with CrossFit, but if he ever actually did a CrossFit WOD of any kind. So that's a fun little thing. All you gave me in the notes was I may have poked the bear. So I had no idea where this was going. So that's fun. These have been some fun stories. I really appreciate G. Obviously everybody, if you're listening and you're in our CrossFit community, if you've got stories of people that you've met, the quote CrossFit celebrities, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to hear from you and have those conversations. But if you are new to our community, if you're hearing the podcast for the first time, or you want to learn more about us, there's a couple of ways that you can get in touch with us. The main way is through our website. I'll go ahead and give it here, G, and then tell us what they can do as far as next steps. But if you just go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com. That's CrossFitEdwardsville.com. And there's a lot of resources available. But, G, what should be their first next best step?
So the first step, once you visited our website, and if you haven't already, a great starting point is to just Google us. Read our Google reviews, read our Facebook reviews, find us on Instagram. It's one of our most active platforms. Check out the photos, the videos, the profiles, the features. Get to meet some of the other CrossFitters that go to our gym. See, like, hey, do I resonate with these people? Is this my tribe, right? And then once you've done a little bit of internet digging and a bit of research on us, you're like, cool, this looks fun. I think I'd really enjoy this. At CrossFitEdwardsville.com, you can, find a time for a no sweat conversation phone call with a coach, where we'll get to know more about your story, what's important to you, and your coach will help to direct what would be your first steps. What does your journey here at CrossFit look like? Most typically beginning with what we call a first class experience. You and a coach, just you and a coach, one-to-one, and your coach helps create a first workout experience that lets you have a great time, experience CrossFit, but in a safe way. So if that's interesting to you, find us at CrossFitEdwardsville.com.
And again, what we always want is we want everybody to look better, to feel better, and perform better. So not only can you Google us, but as G said, you can check us out on Instagram and Facebook at CrossFit Edwardsville as well. And we look forward to talking with you, seeing how we can help you in your fitness journey. And G, thank you again for this conversation. Very fun to hear it. Thanks for the time today, man. And go out there, everybody, as I always like to say,
have a championship day.
But bam, there it is. Have a championship day.